All right, so let's have a look at subtraction with Numicon. One of the things we need to consider is that there are 4 ways that we use subtraction, and this is why it's a little bit more complex sometimes for kids than addition. So first of all, we talk about when something is taken away. So that's the big one. We do subtraction as take away. Then secondly, when we're comparing and we're finding the difference. Then we have when we're decreasing something, and then we have the inverse of addition where we're adding something on. Okay, so just remembering that there are those 4 structures within subtraction. So one of the really important things is kids also need to have that part whole understanding. So recognizing when I'm taking away a part, there'll be a remaining part, and together those 2 parts make a whole. So that relationship back to addition is always really important. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of examples here. So here I've got the Numicon 5 shape. I've got 5 pegs, and if I was saying 5, take away 3, I can take away from the top. So I can take 3 pegs away from the top, and I can see that I've got 2 left. If I wanted to, I could put my Numicon shape over the top to show I've got 2. I can also use Numicon in Play-Doh and press that down to make little marks in the Play-Doh, and then I can do a similar thing where I'm saying 5, take away 3. I could actually overlay my 3 if I wanted to show that 3 as part of that 5 and the missing part. That's a little bit more for extension, but I can just simply say 5, take away 3. So I've got 5, press down 3. How many do I have left? I've got 2 left. Okay, so we can take the pegs away. We can press down the dots in the Play-Doh, but I'm starting from the top. I'm not starting from the bottom. Okay, so I'm taking away from the top and I'm adding in from the bottom to maintain that base of 2. The other way that we can do subtraction is to use the subtraction covers. So these come in all of the teacher handbooks. So for example, I've got a 10 here, and if I was saying 10, take away 6. What we don't want to do is add in the 6, because that might seem like that's obvious. We can see that there's 4 left over, but for a lot of kids that will look like it's addition. Okay, so rather than adding something in, we can use these subtraction covers, and they come in all the sizes of the Numicon shapes. So if I grab my 6 and I can say 10, take away 6, and I'm covering over those 6, and I can see that there's 4 left. I can also cover over those 6 with my hand, or if I know 6 is one of the parts, and therefore I know its number bond of 10 is 4, if I'm saying 10, take away 6, then I know, because I've got that part whole knowledge, that the missing part will be a 4. Okay, so that's relying on the part whole knowledge. So a few different ways that you can explore subtraction. The other way that you can do it is making sure that you have lots of games, and you'll find some of these in the teacher handbooks. This is one where we're using a dice or a spinner, and there's a couple of ways you can play it. Starting with 10 pegs, you roll the dice and you take away what's left. So now I have 1 left. Now you have the option here, if you wanted to extend your kids, you have the option of now replacing that with a 9. Okay, but that's usually if we don't have the pegs on it. So you can play it with or without pegs. So now I'm going to take away 3. I'm taking from the top. I need to get exactly 0, so I'm taking away 5, and now I just need to roll till I get a 1. There we go, I got a 1. Okay, now the other way that you can play that is without pegs. As I said, you start with a 10 and you roll, for example, a 3. So 10, take away 3. I could use my subtraction cover to cover my 3 and have a look at what I have left. So I have 7 left. And then I can replace that shape and that subtraction cover with what is remaining. So now I am moving that out, and I've got a 7. I can roll my dice, 3 again. So once again, I can cover that. I can see I have 4 left. I can replace that 7 and the subtraction cover with my 4. Roll again, I've got a 6, too many, a 1. Okay, so now I need to take that away, and I'll be left with my 3. Roll again, another 1. I'm taking that 1 away, and I'm left with my 2, which I don't know where it went. Here it is here. And I need to get down exactly to 2, and you get the idea. Okay, so lots of practice with subtraction. The other thing we want to do a lot of is moving up and down and looking at addition and subtraction together. so that it's not just one or the other. So once kids have a good understanding of subtraction, we can play lots of games like this one. So for this, we start our counter in the middle at 5. We have one of the Numicon plus and addition and subtraction dice, and we also have a normal dice. So I'm going to roll the first one, which is telling me I'm adding on, and now I'm rolling the second one and I'm adding on 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I could have another turn and I roll it, it's another addition, and I could keep going past because this particular one goes all the way up to 21, so it's a good one for going up into those teen numbers. Okay, let me roll again, and this time I'll have a subtraction. I'm subtracting 6, so I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I could actually show that once again with the Numicon shapes, where I have my 10, I'm covering over 6, and I can see that I have 4 left, so it's matching that. So you can do it with the resources and do it with a number line. The other nice one to do with this is not just when you're adding and subtracting 1, but if you're adding and subtracting 10, we really want kids to become fluent in adding and subtracting tens, working in those place value units. So for this game, we can use the Numicon tens number line and Numicon 10 shapes. Okay, and we can just do addition or just do subtraction, or do addition and subtraction like we did in the previous game. Say for example, I might be doing addition and subtraction. I could start at 50, but for the sake of this, we'll just use our spinner. So this is one of the spinners with the overlays that has addition and subtraction. So I can start at a particular point. So I might want to start at 50. Okay, if I'm starting here at 50, and then I'm subtracting 10, okay, then I would have those shapes on my, so I've got my, you can't see the rest of my number line, but imagine I've got all my 10 shapes over my number line. And if I'm subtracting 10, I would say 50, take away 10, and that leaves 40, okay? If I was to spin again, I'm adding on 10, so 40, add on 10, that takes me to 50. Spin it again, I'm subtracting 10 again, takes me to 40, and if I subtracted 10 again, then it's taking me down to 30. So lots of practice moving up and down with subtraction and addition by ones, and then when kids are ready, subtraction and addition by tens, and then by hundreds through those place value units. So lots of practice looking at using the pegs to remove, using the Numicon shape overlays, the subtraction overlays, and they will help you also hide that part that you're subtracting away. Hope that all makes sense. Thanks.